What? I'm dead and out before I can switch weapons because you suck dick, piece of shit developer. What the fuck was that? And before I could even switch the shockwave, before I could even know he was there, I was dead. Come on, piece of shit. Where was this guy? You fucking worthless piece of shit cocksucker developer. What the fuck was that? Give me some warning or something. Ah! Warning, you're dead in 3 seconds! Warning, you're dead! One of your dead, piece of shit, cocksucker, worthless developer. It's been 5 long years since I've given you $1 because it's I got seen. I'm dead. I got seen. I'm dead. You understand how much? Fucking piece of shit, goddamn fucking bullet sponge and one shot. It's bullet sponge and one shot, you fucking cocksucker developers. It's bullet sponge and one shot. The only 2 things you shouldn't ever have in a video game. The 2 things you chose to be the primary fucking mechanic in your video games. You suck dick. I hope you never make $1. I sure as fuck don't ever pay you. You suck fucking dick, worthless piece of shit developer. God damn, 5 hits and I'm dead. Before I even alert that he's there, I'm dead. Suck my dick, worthless piece of shit developer. Suck my dick, you worthless piece of shit developer. Suck my fucking dick, you worthless piece of shit developer. Sorry! That's how my thoughts came, so that's how I deliver it. Sorry. Wish I didn't think that way. Suck my fucking dick, you worthless pieces of shit, cocksucker, baby boomer, fucking failure ass developers. Let me pick up the goddamn Mac Git, you piece of shit developer. That might cost me. Four left, four down, four up. Top five, bitch! Wish me luck. Take that, Nenny! I got him. What was that, second try? First time was the developer, second time was me, bitch. Me. Ah, feels good to win. There we go. Goodbye. We're done. It was a good session. I'm going to eat something and go to bed. I'll play some Final Fantasy before I go to bed, but I mean, that's probably all I'm good for, you know. Now, I came through the mall, and now I've got to go through the mall. Yeah, I came through the mall, and now I can go through the mall and just come back to, you know, Windows desks if I need to. I like their mirrored image zone thing, but it's also cheap and low rent. But I have I have this mall. I should go get the other mall. It's terrible if I have to go do that. I don't want to go do that. Let's play some Starfield for the last like 40 minutes because I have to wait for my dinner to cook. It'll take a long time to load Starfield, so that seems like a good game to load right now. It's good to get a Fortnite win. Every time I feel bad about Overwatch, I come into Fortnite and I win my second try. And I'm like, no, I'm not bad. It's the developer that's bad. It's the developer that's bad. It's the developer that's bad. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. I love Final Fantasy XI. I might need to main thief just so I have flee. Otherwise, the game fucking angers me way too much. It takes so long to walk through all of this. Flee with yeah. So what's the best sub a thief can get? It's probably BST, or I don't know. And then I'll main scholar just so I can say I main scholar or whatever. I can't zone right here. No? Oh, okay. I gotta go stir my dinner. I'll be right back. I'm gonna have some nochi for dinner. It's gonna be so good.
Welcome back to the Philip DeFranco Show. You daily dive into the news. It is Thursday, and there is a lot to talk about. In fact, so much so you're getting a double dose. Because I also just uploaded my brand new podcast with Hank Green. You feel bad for editors? You treat them like people? Links is always in the description. Definitely check that out. But that said, there is a lot to talk about today, starting with this. This man right here is believed to have started one of the most destructive wildfires in California history. And his name is Jonathan Rendernesh, and he's a 29-year-old Uber driver from Melbourne, Florida. And just this week, he got arrested outside of his home on suspicion of starting the Pacific Palisades fire at the beginning of the year. A fire, just to remind you, that killed 12 people and destroyed more than 6,000 homes. And so with that, according to the officials, Jonathan was working on New Year's Eve, and he dropped off a passenger in a neighborhood in the Pacific Palisades where he used to live. And you had a couple of Jonathan's passengers that night noting that he appeared agitated and angry. And after dropping off his last passenger, Jonathan reportedly walked up to a nearby trail and tried calling a friend who didn't answer. He then took videos of the view from the trail and listened to a song that officials noted features lighting things on fire. And then, roughly 12 minutes into the new year, he started what was later called the Black...
Oh, I bet I know what it is. It's probably, It's probably The Offspring.
Fire with an open flame. Right after that fire was set, officials said that Jonathan actually called 911 several times, but he wasn't able to get through because of the spotty service on the trail. And then by the time he did get through, he was at the bottom of the trail and someone else had also reported the fire. From that point, you had officials saying that at first Jonathan left the scene in his car, but then he turned around to watch the firefighters even reportedly taking videos while they did. Now, while that fire ended up getting suppressed quickly, LA was also facing a massive windstorm in the following days, and the embers were still quietly smoldering underground, with them then reigniting and causing the Palisades fire, making it what's known as a holdover fire. And the rest, it's history. It becomes one of the most destructive fires in California history. It kills 12 people, destroyed some 6,000 structures and homes, and charred more than 20,000 acres. Now, as far as Jonathan, weeks after the fire started, it was reported that he was interviewed by police, and according to officials, he lied. Jonathan said that he just saw the flames while hiking at the bottom of the trail, and that's when he called 911. But geolocation data from his phone indicated that he was just 30 feet away from the flames as they began to spread. And that is also not the only piece of damning technological evidence that investigators found on him.
Okay.
Because over the course of the 9-month-long investigation, you had officials determining that the fire was intentionally lit, and they looked into Jonathan specifically. And one of the things they found on his devices were ChatGPT-generated images of a city on fire and people running away. He also apparently told it he wanted the images to be dystopian and put in the prompt, "On the other side of the gate and the entire wall is a conglomerate of the richest people. They are chilling, watching the world burn." He also allegedly told a relative that he burned the Bible and told ChatGPT it felt amazing. Right, and all of that as he's also accused of asking the app, "Are you at fault if a fire is lit because of your cigarettes?" And then all of that, it brings us to Jonathan's arrest on Tuesday when he was picked up outside of his home in Florida. He then yesterday had his first court hearing, though he has not entered a plea yet.
You are at fault.
He won't do so until he arrives in California. And so with all that, you had the acting U.S. attorney for LA saying, "A single person's recklessness caused one of the worst fires Los Angeles has ever seen." With then other California leaders like Gavin Newsom chiming in, writing, "This marks an important step toward determining how the horrific Palisades fire started and bringing closure to the thousands of survivors whose lives were upended," saying this tragedy will never be forgotten. Lives were lost, families torn apart, and entire communities forever changed. And there must be accountability. But also with this, you've got people saying the blame game regarding the fire, it's actually far from over. Or because you also have some pointing fingers at the fire department for allowing the initial New Year's fire to continue underground. Or, for example, an investigator saying that the cleanup after the fire, it fell short and that more could have been done. And so then with that, you had places like the LA Times noting that the big question for homeowners, insurers, attorneys, and more, it's going to be who's to blame? Or the alleged arsonist who started the fire, or the firefighters who potentially didn't do enough to stop it from reigniting. Right, and with that, you had a former leader of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department's arson unit telling the Times there needs to be a commission examining why this rekindled fire was allowed to reignite, saying the arsonist set the first fire, but the fire department proactively has a duty to do certain things. But that also, as you had Kenny Cooper, the special agent in charge of the investigation for ATF, saying that the fire crew did their best with, quote, "a very difficult fire that burned deep within the ground in roots and in structure and remained active for several days." And adding, fire departments cannot proactively prevent holdover fires. The person who started this fire is solely to blame. Saying, "I will never blame our brave firefighters when we know how this fire started." And then adding that it can be very hard to detect activity underground, that even infrared imaging systems, they can sometimes miss it. But then, as far as what can be learned for the future, you had the LA Times saying that this should underscore the danger of reignition, noting that several modern devastating fires were holdover fires. But ultimately, that is where we are right now, and it's going to going to be interesting to see how this plays out, both with are there any changes as far as how the fire department is supposed to handle these things, investment, things of that nature, as well as what happens with the alleged arsonist. But then next up in the news, we need to talk about Donald Trump, Antifa, and your rights. And a lot of this, it centers around these insane videos of Trump that have gone viral over the past 24 hours. With both of those clips coming from a roundtable on Antifa that Trump held at the White House. And just a few minutes into the event, you had the president talking about conservative journalists and media personalities who he claims have been attacked by Antifa. And there, he specifically mentioned Nick Sorter, a conservative influencer who claimed that he was attacked after trying to stop people from burning an American flag at an immigration protest. And there, you had Trump going on to say,
"We took the freedom of speech away because that's been through the courts, and the courts said you have freedom of speech. But what has happened is when they burn a flag, it agitates and irritates crowds. I've never seen anything like it on both sides, and you end up with riots. So we're going on that basis. We're looking at it not from the freedom of speech, which I always felt strongly about, but never passed the courts."
So that can be a little hard for some to parse through exactly what Trump is saying there, but it appears that he's referring to an executive order that he signed back in August that directed the DOJ to investigate and prosecute people for burning the American flag to the fullest extent that the law allows. And that last part right there is very key, because even the order itself explicitly notes that the Supreme Court ruled back in 1989 that flag burning is protected under the First Amendment. But Trump and his team, they argue that there is still room to prosecute flag burning if, quote, it is likely to incite imminent lawless action or amounts to fighting words. Or with another big thing being that the order also called for the Attorney General to pursue litigation that could challenge the long-standing Supreme Court precedent. Still, as many, including experts, have noted, the High Court ruling still stands, at least for now, and the president just doesn't have the power to suspend a First Amendment right because he wants to. Right, and on the note of Trump assuming sweeping powers, we also saw this bizarre clip of Stephen Miller getting a lot of traction online. Right, and in it, you have Miller doing a live interview with CNN, and then he appears to kind of freeze up right after mentioning plenary authority, which is a legal term that essentially just means limitless power.
You've called the district judge's ruling blocking the deployment of National Guard in Oregon legal insurrection. Does the administration still plan to abide by that ruling?
I forgot the cheese up.
Well, the administration filed an appeal this morning with the Ninth Circuit. I would note the administration won an identical case in the Ninth Circuit just a few months ago with respect to the federalizing of the California National Guard. Under Title 10 of the U.S. Code, the president has plenary authority.
Stephen? Stephen?
Stephen?
Hey, Stephen, can you hear me? It seemed, Stephen, I apologize. It seems like we're having a technical issue. We'll try to fix that and get back to you after a quick break.
And then after the commercial break, the interview just resumed like normal, with the host again apologizing, saying some wires got crossed. And then you had a spokesperson for CNN later claiming that guests who appear remotely wear earpieces to hear audio from the anchor, but because of a technical issue, audio from another CNN channel started playing in Miller's ear. So with that, if you looked online, there were plenty of people who didn't buy that explanation. Or you had many speculating that Miller cut himself off and pretended it was a technical glitch because he wasn't supposed to talk about Trump having absolute power. So with others saying that his audio was cut on purpose, or that someone in his ear told him to stop. And you also had some accusing CNN of trying to cover something up, claiming that they're lying about the audio issue and noting that when the outlet uploaded the clip online, it cut the entire incident out. But also on the note of Trump potentially exceeding his power as president, we saw this clip from the Antifa roundtable going viral as well.
Have you given any more thought to possibly suspending habeas corpus to not only deal with these insurrectionists across the nation, but also to continue rapidly...
Insurrectionists across the nation. The what?
So, I don't know. I'd rather leave that to Christie. What do you think?
And so with that, you had some speculating that Trump doesn't actually know what habeas corpus is. So you also had others arguing that he does know what it is, right?
No, he doesn't.
In person to challenge their imprisonment, but he was just having hearing trouble. So with people pointing to him asking reporters to repeat themselves at other recent events. So even with that, you had people saying, well, that just highlights the growing health concerns around having a nearly 80-year-old president. Which actually, on that note, these clips, they came the same day that you had the White House press secretary saying that President Trump will be getting a routine yearly checkup when he visits the Walter Reed Military Hospital for a meeting with troops on Friday. Right? Well, that it normally wouldn't be any kind of cause for concern about the president's health or really be a standout thing. This would actually be the second yearly checkup that Trump has gotten in the last 6 months. His last known medical screening, it happened just this past April. The counterpoint, it might just be that scientists want another crack at understanding how he is just so smart and tall and handsome and really charismatic. Right? And definitely not about any kind of concerns around physical or mental fitness. And, definitely not connected to any speculation that's grown around, his bruises that appeared on his hands, swollen ankles, and various mental lapses. But again, that said, I'm sure he's fine, and we can definitely 100% without ever questioning it, trust whatever report comes out about a president. And then there's more we've got to dive into in just a minute, but first let me take a minute to say, imagine if your dinner was advertised as mystery meat-flavored crunch nuggets. Or you'd probably ask Alexa to cue up some sad violin music. That, I mean, it's basically what most dog food is. Ultra-processed filler with a side or a bread. That's why today's sponsor, Sundays for Dogs, exists. Right? Real food for dogs who deserve better than whatever's left on the factory floor. This stuff was created by a vet who got tired of seeing garbage marketed as nutrition. Sundays is made with real meat, organs, and superfoods. Translation, it's actual food, not meat powder number 47. It's air-dried, jerky style, so it keeps all the nutrients and flavor while ditching the fridge, freezer, and prep work. Scoop it, serve it, and then bask in the look that your dog gives you like it just invented electricity. And the difference? I mean, better digestion, shinier coats, fresher breath, and yes, the zoomies that your carpet fear. And no sketchy byproducts, preservatives, or chemicals with names longer than your Wi-Fi password. Right? Even picky eaters love it. The recipes, they're packed with human-grade ingredients and actually smell like food, not disappointment. So treat your dog like family, because you wouldn't want to hand your kid a bowl labeled meatish filler blunt. Scan that QR code or go to sundaysfordogs.com/Phil for 50% off your first order. That's half off to finally upgrade your dog's bowl to something worthy. But then next up in the news, we've got to talk about Hamas and Israel now agreeing to the first phase of a peace plan for Gaza. Or because this is huge news, but also there's a lot of questions remaining about what this means, what comes next, and what might come after. So to start, we should talk about how we got here. And I don't mean the decades of history that have led us here, but rather today's news. It's notably coming almost exactly 2 years after Hamas led an attack on Israel, killing about 1,200 people and taking about 250 hostages. 28 of them are in captivity, more than 100 of whom have been released, and about 20 who are believed to still be in Gaza. Right, and that as the Israeli military has directly killed roughly 70,000 Palestinians, obliterated Gaza's homes, schools, hospitals, and
70,000?
well as the conditions for famine and starvation. Right, and as we've covered on the show, activists, experts, and rights groups all having collected evidence to say that what's taking place is genocide. Right, but with all that said, peace talks between Israel and Hamas began taking place in Egypt this week based on a 20-point plan negotiation between Israel and the U.S. without Palestinian involvement. And yesterday, you had Trump's Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff, along with son-in-law Jared Kushner, arriving to represent the United States. And in fact, you had those talks continuing as Trump was holding a roundtable event with top officials and conservative influencers about Antifa. And that led to more than an hour into the event, you had Secretary of State Marco Rubio handing Trump a note and then getting up and whispering something in his ear. And a photographer from the Associated Press actually captured an image of the piece of paper which said, "Very close. We need you to approve a Truth Social post soon so you can announce a deal first." Right, and then you had Trump immediately sharing the news.
I was just given a note by the Secretary of State saying that we're very close to a deal in the Middle East, and they're going to need me pretty quickly, so we'll take a couple of more questions.
With Trump then ending the event 10 minutes later by saying,
"We're going to get peace in the Middle East. That's what we want to do. Thank you very much."
Right, and from there, it wasn't long until you had him posting on Truth Social, "I am very proud to announce that Israel and Hamas have both signed off on the first phase of our peace plan. This means that all of the hostages will be released very soon, and Israel will withdraw their troops to an agreed-upon line as the first steps toward a strong, durable, and everlasting peace. All parties will be treated fairly," and saying, "This is a great day for the Arab and Muslim world, Israel, all surrounding nations, and the United States of America, and we thank the mediators from Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey who worked with us to make this historic and unprecedented event happen. Blessed are the peacemakers." Right, and then you've also since had Trump saying he'll likely address Israel's parliament in the coming days on the invitation of Israeli Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. And with that, you also had Netanyahu convening his cabinet to officially approve the deal, although as of recording, this hasn't happened yet. But if the deal's approved as expected, you had an Israeli spokesperson saying that a full ceasefire in Gaza won't go into effect until 24 hours after the government endorses the deal. And it's from that point, according to the spokesperson, that Hamas would have 72 hours to return all of the hostages. Because a big thing here is that even after Trump announced the deal, you had Israeli military operations continuing in Gaza this morning. Now, with all that said, I will say, at least as of recording, we still haven't seen the full text of whatever's been agreed upon or what's been changed from the original 20-point plan. Though that plan stated that once all hostages are released, Israel will release 250 life sentence prisoners plus 1,700 Gazans who were detained after October 7th, 2023, including all women and children detained in that context. And adding that for every Israeli hostages whose remains are released, Israel will release the remains of 15 deceased Gazans. But also what we've heard from Trump is that the hostages would be released Monday or Tuesday, which would be potentially after that 72-hour mark. And you also had him acknowledging that Hamas may not be able to produce all the bodies of the deceased hostages. Also, a big thing, again, as I'm recording this, is the list of Palestinians to be released that reportedly hasn't been finalized yet. And you actually had one Hamas official already claiming that disagreement over the list was already endangering the deal. Writing on X, it appears that Netanyahu is striving to blow up the ceasefire agreement before its implementation by backtracking on the lists of prisoners. Now, that said, assuming the deal does stay on track, the first phase, it would also reportedly involve Israel pulling back its troops from an agreed-upon line in Gaza. And while it's not clear exactly what that line is as of right now, you did have an IDF spokesperson saying today that it will lead to Israeli forces controlling and holding about 53% of the Gaza Strip. You had the Israeli military also confirming today that it was preparing to lead the operation for the hostages' return and to, quote, transition to adjusted deployment lines soon. And then the last big thing that's expected to be a part of this first phase is an increase of aid into Gaza. But again, you've got few details right now. Though, very notably, you did have the UN Humanitarian Office calling for immediate access for 170,000 tons of food, medicine, shelter, and other supplies that it says are ready to be delivered into the territory. And this aid, I mean, it could not be needed more. I mean, you've got the World Health Organization reporting earlier this week that 400 Gazans have already died of malnutrition since the start of the year, including more than 100 children, most of them under the age of 5. And there was a study published this week that estimated that almost 55,000 Gazan children under the age of 5 are acutely malnourished. It's just the hope that, this deal could bring an end to some of that suffering. It's had some Palestinians in Gaza celebrating, and we've even seen some Israelis doing the same as well. Also, as far as world leaders, this has been received very, very well. But, of course, there are still many who remain skeptical right now, and really for good reason. Like 2 previous deals, they already failed to bring an end to the bloodshed. And then, on top of the question still remaining about the first phase, some of the most difficult issues between Israel and Hamas, they've seemingly been left to a future phase of negotiations. So, for example, it's unclear whether and to what degree and how Hamas would lay down its weapons, which has been a long-standing demand of Israel. And while Hamas has long said that it'd be willing to release all the hostages only in exchange for the complete withdrawal of Israeli military forces from Gaza, a permanent end of the war, and the release of Palestinian prisoners, the deal this week, it only guarantees one of those 3 things, the prisoner release. And so you're seeing analysts out there saying that Hamas is actually taking a big risk by agreeing to release the remaining hostages in Gaza, giving up their only real leverage. And so with that, you already have the group calling on Trump and others to compel Israel to, quote, fully implement the agreement's requirements and not allow it to evade or delay carrying them out. Right? And so there's all of that, as also there's definitely people in the Israeli government itself that aren't too happy about this. And possibly chief among them would be Finance Minister Bezalel.
You guys are quibbling over the moral objections and pros and cons.
Smotrich. He's an extremist who has openly called for Gaza's destruction. And so unsurprisingly, he's already opposed the deal, threatened to quit the government, and said that Hamas should be destroyed once the hostages are returned. But then also, if the issues that we're talking about here, right, they get worked out and Israel doesn't continue its attacks after the hostages are released, there's still a massive question about, well, who's actually going to govern Gaza? Right? I mean, you have Trump's 20-point plan, which called for him to head up a so-called board of peace that would oversee what it called a technocratic, apolitical Palestinian committee. And there's also a lot of emphasis on creating and attracting investment, or with some fearing that this is something that he and others might see as kind of more of a real estate opportunity. And there you've got people pointing to his past comments about turning Gaza into the Riviera of the Middle East, as well as leaked plans that were considered by the White House, which would establish a resort named after him in the territory. And then, on top of that, this plan, it used a lot of vague language. It's saying things like a full Israel military withdrawal or Palestinian statehood could only happen if certain conditions are met, though without specifying those conditions. And so all of that is to say that the news that we're seeing, that a peace deal is here, that is fantastic. That is, I think, what most everyone wants, to see the suffering, the needless suffering and horror end. But it is also very important to talk about and be aware of just the millions of ways that this could fall apart. So really, as always, I'll hope for the best, expect the worst, and we will see what happens over the next few hours, days, months, and weeks. But then from that, finally today, I wanted to do one more thing. Just this morning, I shot an hour-long podcast with Hank Green, who he has so many identifiers. He's really someone that, like, when he talks, I listen. So I wanted to end today by playing this bit.
Can I say something to Ben?
Yes.
Ben, I didn't mean to invalidate you.
I don't see a green flag when I look at this guy. I see somebody who has too much money, who's grown fat on doing nothing.
Lived experience. What I will say...
And I'm supposedly that guy who's done nothing and grows fat on doing nothing. This guy might have done a lot with his life. I don't care what he says.
Experience is the foundation of almost every scientific insight. We find things that we experience and then we test them. And so I shouldn't have invalidated your lived experience or anyone else's. We need to, like, if you experience something, then we test it and figure out whether or not it's true. And many times we discover things are true. And when we don't listen to lived experience, then we miss things that science should otherwise be discovering. But if we only rely on lived experience, that allows lawyers like RFK Jr. to tell stories that are fake.
I don't believe that apology because I see no ukulele in your hands. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. Well, it brings us to the end of this video. You've got even more just a click away. You've got my brand new interview and podcast with Hank Green. It's interesting, it's serious, it's goofy, it goes off the rails at times. Or you can watch the newest Philip DeFranco show that you haven't seen yet right here. I've even got links for both in the description so you can get filled in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. That said, thank you for watching. I love yo faces, and I'll see you right back here next time.
Yeah, it's 12:15. I think I should go to bed. Unfortunately.
This is not a drama video. I'm going to state that immediately. So go ahead and click off the video if you're looking for drama between me and Charlie, because that's never going to happen. I have no ill will against this human being in any capacity. What I am talking about, though, is the people that have continually messaged me almost immediately about a video he just posted. I think it got posted, 20 minutes ago? The video got posted 20 minutes ago, and people are messaging me about this video saying, why would he do this? I don't know why you want my opinion on this, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you why he did this. It's because he makes a stupid amount of money. You probably don't even know what he did. He turned off his channel memberships. He turned off his ways of donating to him. I'm going to just play his video. This is what he's turning off.
Don't worry, that's going to be sticking around. What won't be sticking around, what I'm turning off, is pretty much every way of donating money to me. I'm disabling YouTube channel memberships and super chats. I tried to find a way to do this for Twitch since I multi-stream. I didn't want Twitch to have a way of doing this either, but Twitch is a little special. Once they get you in those nipple clamps, you are not getting out. Once you opt into like the partner program or whatever, you can't turn off bits.
So, want to point this out. This is super cool. He also set the bit requirement to a high degree that nobody can even do. It's going to be insane to actually donate to him. Why did he do this? Why would he do this? Well, this doesn't make any sense. It's insane. So, I'm going to do a fun bit of pocket watching real fast to show you something really cool. So, every time Moist Critical uploads a video, every single time, he averages, 1 million views. Literally every video he posts averages close to 1 million views. All of them. If you go through any of the videos, they're hitting 1 million views. That's where he's hitting. He's hitting million. That's his bare minimum. Bare minimum. And his higher end videos, 27 million. 25 million, 22 million, 20 million, 18 million. 18 million again. He is having, even in his highest videos, he has been hitting high metrics because people value his words. They value what he says. So he's probably noticed because he uploads daily. He does not edit. He does not have an editor. He does not hire an editor. He does not do any high class edits. He just sits in front. He does this. This is what he does every single video. Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Critical. So today we're going to be talking about, and then he just spitballs. No script, no scripting. All off the top of his head. Every single thing. Same as me. All top of his head. No editing, no cuts, nothing. Just quality content because people value his opinion so much. That's it. That's it. Good voice, good looking guy. That's all he has. That's it. So he realized that, I'm not using any extra money or anything. He wears the same outfit. He doesn't show his wealth, doesn't have a crazy car, doesn't have a crazy house. He just has money, right? He just has money. So he makes a lot of money on this channel. I'm going to show you how much he makes later, but he makes a lot of money on his channel. He also has this clip channel where he still uploads on, where he makes money on his clip channel too. So he does that. And those are hour-long videos. Longer video, more money. That's how it works. And also, he has a gaming channel. Longer videos, more money. That's what he does. That's just a whole thing there. So money. And he uploads near daily on this channel. And it gets 100,000 views, a lot of views there. And then he has Skill Check, which he uploads regularly on Skill Check. He does that. That's money. That's significant money. That's still money. 40,000. That's crazy. And then the other channel, which he still uploads pretty regularly. So he does that on top of his daily content, which probably doesn't take that long to do. It's not. People often say, well, how does he have this crazy high output? One, is his job. Two, it's probably really easy when you don't have crazy editing to do. You just sit in front of a camera. People ask me, how do you make videos, all these videos? Because I don't do a lot of edits. And also, this is going to be really specific. He also has a Facebook. Facebook pays you. And it's really good money on Facebook that they pay you. I got paid on Facebook one time $7,000. He caught me off guard. Didn't really suspect that. It was off memes. Didn't really suspect that either. So, I'm going to show you how much he makes. This is going to help you out a lot. And Voice Critical, if you ever see this video, by the way, if you would like to show how much you make, you're more than welcome to. You don't have to, but you're more than welcome to. So, this is an estimation of how much he makes. Either he makes $28,000 a month or $500,000 a month. One of the two, right? So I'm going to be very real with you here. This is a estimation. This is not the actual amount right here, right? Want to know how I know it's not the actual amount? Because they guess that I make between $546 and $8,000 a month, right? Now, there's no month on YouTube where I've made $8,700, period. And I have not made $75K in a year. So, using these two estimates of my channel compared to his channel, this is just his main channel, not any of the other channels I brought up. Using these two, if I am just guessing, he is making $200,000 a month passively. Why do I say that? Well, this is how much I actually made in a year on YouTube. I've been doing YouTube for about a year. This is how much I actually made. I made $43,000 on YouTube. That's a year's salary. That's really good. That's how much I made a year on YouTube. That's outstanding. I'm really happy about that. I have 21 million views in totality, 1.3 million hours, 208,000 subscribers. That's outstanding. I'm so happy about that. That's phenomenal. Yeah. Hopefully this could be my full-time job one day. So, Voice Critical. If we compare, so let's do the math right quick. So if they think I make $75,000 when I make $43,000 in the year, that's what they guessed. If in a month they think I make $8,000 when in reality I make about $4,000 a month, their guesses are probably a little bit off. So I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and say that every year he probably makes like $4 million, and every month he probably makes like $200,000. Let's just be generous here. And every day he's averaging 4 million views across all of what he makes. 4 million. All right? That's on his.
You know what I think of when I think of this? I think I have a good job. And the more work I put into the job, people don't pay me for. The less work I do, the better I do.
Channel exclusively. This does not include how much money he gets from people rewatching his live streams. This does not include how much money he gets from his gaming channel. This is just his main channel. So he is making maybe $200,000 every single month. Now, that's a lot. Crazy. Obviously, we get it. We understand. He's not hurting for money at all. It's actually hilarious when you really think about how much money Charlie makes and what he's saying on. We're not talking about your average YouTuber affiliate kind of check. Now, we're talking about never worry about rent, taxes, or the price of a private island kind of money. He's potentially, and this is on top of what all the channels, with the clip channel, the gaming channel, he's potentially making 5 figures a day just from passive video views across his massive content library. He could take a week off, do nothing.
I want to reach this point, not for the money, but just the sheer fact that I have 50 years of my content online.
And still come back to $1 million in his bank account, maybe even more. That's what he could do. That's what he do. That's what he does. And I kept seeing people say, he turned off his sub. This is weird. It's all over my channels, all over my Discord, everywhere. The first reaction might be, why would he do this? But if you got multiple streams income bringing in thousands a day, support the streamer energy doesn't really apply anymore. He has become self-aware. He doesn't need your $4.99 to keep the lights on. He can keep those lights on, buy the electric company, and rename it Moist Electric. That's what he's saying. Keep your money. I'm good. He wants. Yeah. And this is so good to me because everybody's begging for super chat.
Yeah. I don't mind this kind of power in these intellectual streamer figures.
Ask Kai for that's like, yeah, we got 1 million subs. This is great. He just wants to vibe and talk about how dumb things are about the world. And I want to point this out. He has his own company, the Moist Cheek thing. He has his own clothing line. likely shares in dozens of other businesses, and a content backlog that's printing money like a Federal Reserve on a bender. That's what's going on. He's one of the few creators who actually hit that level of success where money has become a background mechanic and not a daily motivator. That is rare. That's something very few content creators achieve. Most of them say, well, I don't do it for the money, while waiting for that AdSense analytics every 4 hours. I do
What?
this. To be quite honest with you, I could do this for the money. I really wish I could. I just post whatever I feel like, and hopefully I can make it to a level where money is not an issue, but I still have a 9-to-5 job. I still work at Amazon, so I don't really have a choice there. Charlie says this stuff and means it because he doesn't need the reassurance. The algorithm's already paying him hush money. That's what's going on.
Yep.
And this is the beautiful thing.
The algorithm's
People
paying
are
him
saying,
hush money.
well, why doesn't he show the money? Why doesn't he show the money? He didn't do a crypto rug pull. He didn't do anything that crazy. He just keeps making content. Just showing up with his monotone takes, oddly compelling commentary, and then his I'm smarter than I act and you know it. That's how he operates. He could fund an indie film, 50 of them, for weeks, and then host a YouTube boxing event. He could fund an entire charity by himself. That's what he was. He is humble. That's what he is. And this is such a glaze, but he's a non-performative humble is what he is. He's not screaming from the top, look how much I make. Because he didn't brag about how much he makes. He just said, don't donate to me. I'm fine. He didn't show his money. He didn't do that, but I'm going to show it because I'm going to guess. I'm pocket watching. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm pocket watching. It's his strange. He doesn't engage with the money in the way most influencers do. There's no flexing, no monthly income breakdown, no long-winded how I got rich tech talk. It's just a quiet wealth that's don't say, oh no, this is horrible, this is so bad, this is nuts. I've been seeing crazy people say, oh, he secretly signed some media deal behind the scenes. Maybe he's exclusively doing this with YouTube. Maybe he's doing something with that. Maybe he signed an NDA. No. AdSense is just paying him money. That's what's it. That's what it is.
Yep.
That's it. He's been around for a while. Daily content, essentially.
Yep.
He's just consistency as a human being. That's all it is. So I just want to make this video because people were asking me. I don't know why. I'm not important enough to know what's going on. They're just asking me. So yeah, thank you all so much, and bye.
This matters to me because if you look at my channel, and this is gonna go on for 90 years or something like that. Or 50 years, excuse me. Well, it'll be long after I'm dead. Long after I'm dead. I'm somebody willing to turn my personality into this. Most people aren't willing to do that. And so I'm going to show you what I mean. I'm recording and I'm streaming right now. Charlie has a lot of videos on YouTube. I don't think Charlie has as many videos as I have on YouTube. He might, but it took him a long time. If we come to channel content and we look, I have 2.9K videos with 161 subscribers. So that's like, every 3,000 videos, I get 161 subscribers. But after 50 years, that's going to be so much. It's going to be so much advertisement, like money, like whatever it is. And I don't feel too bad about who I am or what or how I'm doing. I look at CEOs who have lost their money, who are struggling now, and I'm like, boy, I'm sorry, you don't have like a brain trust, do you? You don't have something you can fall back on. I want to get away from this crystal. It's too loud. Yeah, get away from it. There we go. No, it's still so loud. Get away from it. And so, like, these videos, they don't get a lot of views, see it? But that's because I put out 365 a year. All it'll take is gaining some kind of actual viewership every year. And I'm suddenly like the biggest guy here. Because most of these guys, they don't have 2.9 thousand videos. Like let's go look at Penguin Zeros on YouTube. He has 17 million followers, which is insane. But he still only has something like double my videos, and he's been at this 13 years. I've been at it 4. And I think that's actually what you're seeing, is sooner or later there's so much of his content that you're just sort of forced to accept it. Now, this guy needed approval from his fellow human beings a lot more than I did. I only really care about my human beings as to how how strong their drugs are. If your drugs aren't strong, then I don't care about you. I could say that to my mother and break her heart for the rest of her life. But I mean, I don't care about you. She's never figured out what the quotient is or what the fucking mathematics are. But it's like this, and I'll tell you right now, if your drugs can't entertain me for 72 hours, you're not worth any money at all. And I know that's a weird quotient, but I mean, it is actually how I look at the fucking world. Is if you can keep me entertained for a long time, like the Harry Potter lady, you know. I can't think of her fucking name because there's so many people like her that I can't think of her fucking name. J.K. Rowling? Her name, it's special and it means a lot to a lot of us, and it was made really strong. But I mean, when you come down to it, when I think of J.K. Rowling amongst so many fucking sci-fi or fantasy authors, or Penguin Zero amongst so many content creators, or Asmongold amongst all the WoW players, it doesn't really matter what your consideration is. They still pulled interest because no matter what we think is kind of law. That's kind of insane, but no matter what we do, what we think sort of becomes the rule of the land, because that's where our interest is. I don't want to talk anymore. I'm going to go play some Overwatch, I think. I just don't want to talk anymore. It's 12:30. I want to go to bed, but I can't. Because I know that I need to stay up for one more game, one more fucking discussion, one more look at my life, one more failure, something. But I mean, I don't have a lot. I've only got what I built. So annoying. I've been banned.
What is he turning off, you ask yourself? Hopefully not his contagious smile.
Your contagious smile. That shaving that you haven't done for 7 years. That Jesus haircut with that old thinning hair.
Don't worry, that's going to be sticking
All your
around. What won't be sticking around when I'm turning off.
Why do you look like Asmongold? You look so bad. You wanted mercy, huh? Alright.
Donating money to me. I'm disabling YouTube channel memberships and super chats. I tried to find a way to do this for Twitch since I multi-stream. I didn't want Twitch to have a way of doing this either, but Twitch is a little special. Once they get you in those nipple clamps, you are not getting them. Once you opt into like the partner program or whatever, you can't turn off bits or subs. The only way out is in a fucking coffin. But I do think I found a solution for bits where I set the minimum so incredibly high that I imagine nobody's going to spend that kind of money, I would hope. But for subs, I can't get rid of that. If I could, I would. I would say toodaloo, give it a strong slap on the ass, tell it good game and goodbye. But from what I can tell, there's a lot of hoops to jump through in order to accomplish that, so I'm just urging you, don't sub or anything like that on Twitch. And the reason why I'm disabling all of these things and discouraging these things is because I just don't want people to donate money to me anymore. I don't want that. I'm putting the kibosh on it. I felt uneasy about it for a while, but I convinced myself that I could deliver something that made it valuable for people that were donating. So like YouTube channel memberships. I had all these big ideas for content I'd do at the farm for members. But what I didn't account for is just how much we do at the farm and how time consuming that is. So I haven't been able to film any of that. So you are basically paying money for, it's not just YouTube memberships that are getting a bad deal. Twitch subs too. All you get there is some emotes. Amazing, yeah. Emotes that I haven't updated in like 4 years that are probably still marked at like -240p on some of the older ones. It's literally just money for, it's just been really bothering me lately. I would much rather do you have to donate it. You know, you have this insatiable appetite to donate it to a charitable cause instead. There are so many charities that benefit greatly from your contribution. Like maybe you'd want to donate to a charity that's doing extremely important work in Gaza. Like that would be a significantly better use of that money than donating it to me. Like I would much rather donate to other organizations or other people instead of donating to me. But there's just so many better options. I'm gonna pull the plug on I have openly discouraged it for a long time, saying that what I do is free. You don't need to donate or anything like that. But people do engage with it. And I want to just take that off of the table. I feel like this is long overdue. It's something I should have done a while ago. Convince myself I can deliver something without I don't think this is get my attention, so that's not a good I also don't think that's I never wanted to get the perception that I was doing content in the first place. The idea was always like, you know, little bonuses and stuff for unedited videos for a time. But then with the way YouTube works, that was getting recommended as though they were like real videos that were being paywalled for just normal subscribers unless you forked over some of the balloons. Actually, Linus Tech Tips just made a video kind of talking about that yesterday. Anyway, I won't get into it too much longer. Meant to be consumed for free. So please just consume it for free. Please. And again, if you do want to donate money, please do it to a charitable cause instead of me. Anyway, that's pretty much it.
When you face adversity, do you blame yourself, your team, or the enemy? I think many of you blame your team. Why did you make me face the run alone in the back? Why? I love bullying quick match players. I love getting in the heads of I love getting in the heads of bads. I love getting in the bads' heads because I've dealt with it for 27 fucking years. Since the Halo and the Call of Duty 1 matches, I've dealt with these bads getting in my head for 27 years. So then I give them a little bit back what I got year one. Year one. I'm talking 2005. Way back in 2005, I give it right back the fuck to them what these pieces of shit, toxic cocksuckers did to me for 27 years. I give it back to them in the year 2025. Sorry if you suck. We still won because you suck. I can come in, I can talk, but I'll still fucking outplay you, bitch. I'll still outplay you. Talk. Oh, yap. All the right-wingers told you to hate yappers. You really hate yappers. You hate yappers because they sound like so much of those other that you hate. So you hate yappers. You hate yappers. Yeah, uh-huh. You hate talking, do you? You're just that fucking stupid. Just saying. No, wait. I don't want this. Get me out of this. I don't have this. No. Oh, I took the Moira. Am I reported? Am I out? Oh no, I'm being reported. Oh no. I love having a bad reputation. It's so fun. This is my last match. I don't care. I don't care what people think about me. I don't care about my bad reputation. I've gone crazy. I don't care what you think about me, bitch. Sorry. Not a kill. Oh, we did get a kill, but we didn't win this. No. Nice. Oh, healer kills. Ugh. Why does that keep playing? I don't have Pandora open. Where does that keep playing? Is it like that thing? Is that thing? Get it gone. I like healing Overwatch really late at night and bullying people. It's fun as fuck. I don't give a flying fuck what people think. I don't care what they do. I don't care if you ban me or whatever. Go ahead and fucking ban me. These guys don't like me, I don't think. Most people don't like me. It's not because I'm toxic, it's because I'm honest with them. They are really dishonest people. And if they can't handle me, it's because I'm honest. God damn it, man. Kill the soldier, you fucking bads. I'm gonna go to bed. Good night, guys. Thank you so much. You've been watching the Skycat Live. I'm a full-time variety gamer all day, every day. If all the stupid bads who think getting 5 kills per 45 minutes is okay weren't there, I would have done a lot better. But the stupid piece of shit bads who think getting 5 kills per 45 minutes is okay really brought me down today. But I mean, I won despite those pieces of shit. I have 2 really fucking valid bases in Rust. They're really fucking strong, high quality bases in Rust. And, and I'm doing really well in Eve and FFXI and anywhere that these pieces of shit who think that getting 5 kills is normal, anywhere they're not involved, I'm doing really, really, really well. So stay away from the pieces of shit who suck dick all day and make it your fucking fault when they pull 5 kills per 45 minutes. And that's the big secret that every DPS doesn't want you to know is like 85% of them pull 5 kills per 65 minutes. And when you really understand how fucking bad that is compared to the tank or the healer, you're like, oh God, I pulled 14 kills this match. You pulled 4. I pulled, 9 kills this match. You pulled 5. And, and it's all a matter of relative, it's relative. But it's also pieces of shit constantly want to bring you down as you get more kills than them and more heals than them. Sooner or later, after, 7 years or something of that stupid horse shit, you're just like, nah, fuck you, you fucking losers couldn't get 5 kills per 45 minutes. If you did, we win. If you pulled 6 kills per 45 minutes, we would win, but you don't. You fucking worthless losers. You accidentally shoot somebody every 3.5 minutes. You think I'm fucking kidding, but no. You fucking suck dick, and I watch the DPS, and I outdo them every single match. You guys get 1 kill every 3.5 fucking minutes. I know what your average is. You want to talk shit to me in an Overwatch game? Suck my fucking dick, losers. 3.5 kills every fucking 17 minutes. Whatever your ratio is. It's disgusting when you see it. It's disgusting when I kill your targets. And I'm like, God, I killed the tank. I killed the tank. It's not because I suddenly got the last 1 damage. It's because I did 99% of the damage to the fucking tank, and you suck dick. Get out of Overwatch. You've been dodging some kind of midlife crisis where you've tricked yourself into believing that you're actually good at what you do. But it's not. It's Dunning-Kruger effect, you fucking losers. You're not good at what you fucking do. I love you guys. Good night. This is me bullying you over something that really matters. It's like you join groups with people whose rating and good time is dependent on you being competent You're not competent, so I don't care what your fucking feelings are. I don't care how you feel about it. You guys pull 5 kills per 45 minutes. I constantly catch you doing it. I've caught you doing it for 5 years or something like that. Go and pull 5 kills somewhere else, loser. Go and pull 5 kills somewhere else. You know, I'm dead serious. Goodbye. Love you guys. Have a good night.